Let's check in the chickens' water and food. Their water is empty and their food is empty. So we're going to like fill their water and food up.
So that was 4 bags of feed, and you can see it's not full. It usually takes about 6 or 7 bags to fill up both of these feeders, but all I have is 4 right now, so that's all they're gonna get. But these feeders work really well. They last 2 to 3 weeks without having to be refilled, and I built them out of scrap lumber. The river is flooding. It's not the highest we've seen it, but it's pretty high because we've had some really warm weather and all the snow is melting in the mountains. But anyway, we have to bring these, we have 2 waterers we have to bring back up and fill these up and then bring them back down here. Okay, bud? I'm gonna leave those eggs here.
Why?
Because the chickens will lay more eggs. So I'm gonna leave them here and then we'll fill them up. I'll carry them up to the house later. Hannah had a hook in here. Oh, there it is. This is where we hang the eggs. All right, chickens have been fed and watered. The kids have been fed and watered. I've had my coffee, Hannah's had her coffee and cereal, and everyone's inside doing homeschool right now. And before I head down to the sawmill, I have to take care of this mess that we made yesterday. We cleaned out our garden shed, which is actually now just a cat shed, because we have kittens. There's one. And then there's 3 more hiding in the corner. So this is supposed to be our garden shed where we do our starts and everything. But I don't think starting plants and cats is a very good mix because they tend to climb all over things. So our vegetable starts are actually in the garage right now. And this is just the cat shed, but we've walked around the property and we picked up all of our tools that we can never find. We collected them here, and before I go down to the sawmill, I figured I better clean this up, otherwise it'll sit here for weeks. So I'm gonna build a super Pinteresty pallet tool holder here on the side of the garden shed. It's fairly close to the garden, and I think it'll work well here, especially for the time being. This isn't a permanent solution. This is on the sunny side of the shed, and tools kind of should be kept out of the sun as much as possible. Otherwise their handles get all weathered and nasty. But I'm just going to cut this pallet down here, and then I'm going to screw it on the wall, and that's where we're going to keep our tools for now. All right, so I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. All of our tools are finally in the right spot where we can find them. Hopefully it stays like this. I do have a few more tools down in the garden area that we're gonna migrate up here. But we finally got this area cleaned up and she's looking pretty tidy. But for the rest of the day, I'm gonna be working down on the sawmill, cleaning up the last of those logs. I'll probably end up being down there for a few days. But we're getting a little bit of rain today, which is nice. We don't usually get rain. And Thursday, we're supposed to get a decent, like a lot of rain. So tomorrow, what day is it today? Today's Monday, Tuesday. On Wednesday, I'm planning on seeding, spreading seed in the pasture and fertilizing the lawn, as well as planting some cover crop down in the garden, because Thursday it should be raining. It'll, you know, drench everything, and then hopefully it'll start coming up when it warms up. All right, so this is what I have left to mill. I have these 3, and then let's see, 4, 5, 6 smaller logs and the 3 big ones. I don't know if you watched my last couple of videos, I've been milling wood for a friend of mine who's building a pole barn. I've done all the beams now. I just need to finish the purlins. So this wood isn't what I would call ideal, these big ones, because of all these big knots. And his purlins are going to be 3 by 6 inch. So I'll cut these open, and if the lumber doesn't look good, like if these knots are too big where it'll be weak, then I'm just gonna cut these into slabs, and I've been selling them on Marketplace, and I've actually been making pretty decent money selling them, because usually I would just take all this and I would cut it into firewood, or I would just burn it, start it on fire. But this year I've been actually cutting lumber out of it. Like you can actually see there's quite a bit of lumber in these ends, so they might only be short ones, but I've been making pretty decent money. I think I made $500 the last couple weeks just selling pieces that I would have burnt. I am so sick of milling, and it's not that I'm sick of milling, but I have so many other things I want to do. Like I want to get a roof on this thing. This has been sitting like this for 6 months, so I really need to get a roof on there. I have to get some siding on this chicken coop, which is that's another thing I have to do. This has been sitting like this for a year and a half. I have to empty the bedding out of the chicken coop. I have to dump all this biochar into the bedding before I empty it. I have to sift out all this compost that I made last year. What else do I have to do? I have to take this compost pile apart. This is where we have all of our cows and pigs carcasses from last year. I have to take that apart, and I want to you know, turn it over, get some air in there. What else do I have to do? Oh yeah, we've promised the kids for like 2 years that we're going to build them a playhouse in here, so I have to do more milling to mill some posts to build a playhouse. And we have a whole bunch of fencing to do. And we also have to start a garden, which, you know, it's going to be gardening time here. I should be planting my cool weather crops right now, like my carrots and my spinach. But that's not going to happen till this milling is finished. So I'm going to double down. I'm going to spend the next 2 days. I'm hopefully get this whole project done. But I've been on the sawmill every single, like, I haven't been putting in full days, but I've been putting in, like, you know, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, and it's been like a week and a half. So this project has got to be finished. Anyway, I'm going back down to the mill. I'm probably not going to bore you with a whole, I'm probably not going to bore you with a ton of footage, but maybe I'll talk to you when I'm done. All right, it's Thursday and I'm back down at the sawmill. I did not spread seed yesterday because our weather forecast changed like it always does, and it's no longer going to rain, and I just ran out of time and kind of forgot. So I'm still planning on doing that in the next couple days, but today I'm planning on cleaning up this mess. I finished that big job milling for a friend of mine. It was a lot more work than I thought, and I probably shouldn't have taken on the job, but it did pay me pretty well for my missed wages. I'm not making a ton of money, and the entire time I was doing it, I was telling myself, is this worth it? Is this worth it? I've got so many jobs to do at the moment right on the farm, and it just felt frustrating to be working on something that I probably didn't have to do when I do have priorities. But I did have to use up all this lumber down here, so at the end of the day, it was worth it. Excuse me. All of this junk that I've been just throwing in here, I actually threw it on Marketplace. I've just been picking through it and picking out the nice pieces, and I've put them on Facebook Marketplace for like 10 bucks a piece, and I have had a ton of people coming and picking up pieces of wood that for the last 2 years I've been burning in the fire. So that now I'm down here, I'm going to be sorting through and remilling all these like slab pieces that, like, I figured, oh, I don't have time to deal with these. I'm now going to go through all this pile. The junk is going to go in one pile, and then all of the pieces that I can cut another 2 by something out of, I'm going to throw back on the mill, and I'm going to quickly, you know, cut it into dimensional lumber like this. But I do have to clean this up. So that's the job for today, is cleaning up this mill, getting all the lumber out of the way, getting the junk in a pile that I can easily pick up with the tractor, and then I'm going to move this mill back up to the top. It's super cold and windy out today. Hannah's got a doctor's appointment, so I have to watch Junior today. I'm trying to give you guys a sneak peek. she's fast asleep. She's not interested in waking up. But she is 2 weeks old now, and she's doing really, really well. Kids are busy playing inside today. What are you guys doing?
Playing with a big mess.
What are you playing with? A big mess? Yeah? Are you guys playing with your little people?
Let's go. Hurry up. I'm playing with this.
You're playing with that?
I'm
Alright.
playing with Pinocchio.
With Pinocchio?
Yep.
Okay guys, guess what? I'm going outside. I have to do some work on the tractor. So you guys have to get along, okay? No, you stay and play. You can come on the tractor later when it warms up. Okay? It's super windy right now, so I'm kind of hiding behind this pile of junk lumber. Yesterday I came down and I cleaned up all of our leftovers from that big milling job I had. This stuff is all just the waste offcuts that I'm just stacking it here. It's going to dry out for till probably the fall, maybe the winter, and then we're going to just turn it all into biochar, but I'll make a separate video on that. This stuff here is all the stuff I salvaged from the junk. So all of the pieces of, I think it's called Wayne, or I don't know what it's called, the round part of the log that you slice off to get the square part, excuse my ignorance, is what I cleaned up. I had the whole mountain of it here yesterday. I turned it all into 2x6-ish type stuff. Pretty decent looking stuff. It's not perfect, so it all has like one good side, and then some of them, you know, it'll have a little bit of whatever you call this, wane on the one side. But people are begging me for this lumber. I'm selling it for 10 bucks a piece on Marketplace, and I have roughly 60 pieces here. So this stack of like what I would have thrown in the garbage last year is worth $600. That's in part due to really high lumber prices right now, but even though it's not perfect, it still makes good, like, just project lumber for a farm. And like I said, I've got 3 people that have told me they'll take all of it, no questions asked, at 10 bucks a piece. So yes, this stuff is just going to sit here and dry out. This is all the stuff that wasn't usable. It's going to sit here till next year, and then I will split it. I'm trying to stay out of the wind here. I'm going to keep it there till next year, and then we'll split it and stack it and let it season for another year or 2. Firewood dries out so fast here because it's really, really dry. So anyway, I'm not going to be doing any of this stuff. Actually, no, I'm going to move this lumber right now. I'm going to pick up this pile of lumber. We're going to move it up to the top, and then we have another project to do while we wait for Mom to get back. All right, I've got 1 log left. I don't really need this log, but I don't want to just leave it or cut it into firewood. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut 1 piece off of it so it has a flat side, and then I'm going to stack it on top of all that lumber I cut just to kind of hold it down so it doesn't twist. This has been a long job. I kind of, in my mind, I thought it would take me a week, and this is week 3. I haven't been doing it full time, and but it's just, I'm super excited to get this behind me and move on to other projects.